So for this video I want to talk about the smear campaign and shame and how they interplay. So one of the big things about narc abuse or being abused by, and I think this cuts across psychological abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, is this shame. Feeling ashamed, feeling shame of that you've let it happen, that shame can actually transfer that from you let it happen to you allowed it to happen to you made it happen to you wanted it to happen, and there's a lot of deep levels there, but they use shame to control you. Shame is used to control you because if you feel ashamed, you feel bad. And so they can offer a way of helping you feel good again by you jumping through hoops to do whatever it is that you might think that they want you to do, and then you may or may not get a reward, you may or may not get recognised or recognition. But here's the really nasty part. So directly after the discard, those last 3 years I had been systematically isolated from my friends and my family, and I had pretty much no contact. Like, my parents would go, "Hey, we want to take you guys away on a holiday, would you like to come on a holiday with us? We'll pay for everything." It got to the point, like, to start with, I would ask permission, and there would always be a reason or an excuse that we couldn't go, or that she couldn't go, and so I'd take the boys, and then I'd be made to feel bad when we returned that we'd gone. It got to the point where I didn't even bother asking permission. I would just say, "Look, I don't think we'll be able to." So that piece around shame. But anyway, so systematically isolated from my family and also from my friends in a similar way. They're just using you. You need to be careful. You're a caring person. She would say these things to me, and I believed that they were using me, and she wasn't. She was there to help me and protect me and keep me safe, and fuck. Anyway, after the discard, any friends, mutual friends that we may have had, the smear campaign starts. And so, again, covert, so she won't specifically say anything negative about me, but she will imply things, and she will sow seeds of doubt into the minds of these mutual friends. And as a result, if I bumped into them at the shops, because of the built-up years of being controlled by shame and feeling shame, and human nature will always look for gaps. They'll always look for, hang on, what's not quite right here? My friend had already, the mutual acquaintance of mutual friend had already had seeds of doubt planted, so they're going to be looking even more. And as soon as they see me respond with shame in any way, shape or form, it confirms for them that I was the nasty person, that I did terrible things, that I was a bad person, whatever. And part of taking back your life is about learning where the shame came from. Because, shit happens, as far as, like, people will say shit about you, fucking, that's life, and some of it's true and some of it's not true, and that's life. But how you respond, how you react, is whether or not it confirms for them. And when you're still controlled by shame, your immediate fallback position will be shame, and that will then influence their mind against you. And so when you get to the heart of it, you can't control what other people say about you. But what you can learn to control is how you respond to people when accusations or insinuations are made. And shame is not a helpful strategy. Now, typically, when you start digging into shame, it will come it'll date back to something from your childhood. And there's this whole field where, and have a look at it, do some research, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Big title, meaning that some fucked up shit happened to you as a child, and as a result, it's influenced and affected a lot of different aspects of your life. And it's not necessarily overt fucked up shit. Like, you may not have been physically abused or sexually abused, but some fucked up shit happened, and it caused you to start to respond, or, guys, sorry, I've got to own this. It caused me to start to respond with shame as my default response. And that's a signal, that's a trigger. Any predator out there, and they're predators. Any predator out there, doesn't matter whether they're male or female, they'll see the signals of shame and they will zero in on you in a heartbeat, because you're an easy target. And that's how sexual predators, how child molesters attack their kids, or attack kids, not necessarily their kids, but attack kids. They look for the ones that have that shame response, and then they use that. Just because you get older doesn't mean you necessarily grow up. So, dig back with the help of a trained psychologist, someone that is specialising in that field, and yeah. As you learn more, you grow more, and I want you to realise that this too shall pass. It will become a thing of the past. Your shame response will disappear because you learn the power of who you are. You learn what's really in here, and not the crap that you've been told to think about yourself. Peace.